This happen with how this game started and how this game finished. The Astros had no business winning that game. But don't tell Yordan Alvarez that because he won that game for the Houston Astros. Your Astros defy the odds, and they did what the Mariners did to the Blue Jays. They came back and gave some big hurt later in the game. And we'll talk about this and more on this edition of the Locked On Astros podcast.
Hello and welcome to Locked On Astros, your daily Astros podcast. Here are your hosts, Eric the Man Huysman and Brett H-Town Wheelhouse Chancey.
We are Locked On Houston Astros, and we hope that you join us for a daily Locked On Astros podcast. My name is Eric Huysman. You can find me on Twitter at Eric Talk Stros. Find the show at Locked On Astros, your team every day. Brett, when you're not screaming for joy at Minute Park after Alvarez hit a home run, where can they find you on Twitter?
They can find me at H-Town Wheelhouse on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. They can find me at Stros411 on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Always positive that Yordan Alvarez is not human, always Stros.
All right, just the whole progression of that game with how Verlander got started and he was off, and then Dusty Baker let him get under control, and then he let the 2 runs later on in the game get in. I think it was in the 4th inning. But for Dusty Baker to keep his ace in there after he was getting shelled, he gave up 6 runs. Then Alvarez threw a runner out at the plate. Then he had that double earlier in the game. And then for him to do what he did in the 9th inning, that was just impressive. And you guys, you know what else is impressive? Making the Locked On Astros podcast your first listen every day, whether it's on YouTube. Make sure you keep on subscribing to us, and make sure you make us your first listen on Apple, Odyssey, Spotify. And there's so much for us to talk about, Brett. I mean, we're down 7-2 at one point, and it just seemed like, okay, I don't think this is going to happen. And then the Astros kept on crawling. My guy, I said, was my pick to click was Yuli Gurriel. What did he do? He had 3 hits today, and he had that home run. But what Alvarez did is it's still amazing to happen. So I'm going to go through what I'll do is I'll go ahead and set up the scenario, and you kind of just describe the situation, how you felt being there and everything. So Christian Vasquez grounds out J.P. Crawford to first baseman Ty France, 1 out. David Hensley in his first major league at bat, I believe it was a 3-2 count at that point. He got hit by a pinch. And then Jose Altuve, supposed to be the best Astros hitter, he strikes out. And then Jeremy Pena, he got a single to center fielder Julio Rodriguez. And you know what? Then you had Scott Service say, you know what? I know I have my closer in there. I have the guy that has 20 saves during regular season, but it would be a good idea to face Yordan Alvarez. Let's go and bring in Robbie freaking Ray, a guy who lost it. I mean, no, he didn't lose it, but he struggled versus the Blue Jays. But let's go ahead and bring him in. And what does Robbie Ray do? He throws a meatball to Yordan Alvarez, and he hits a ball that I don't know if it's landed yet. It probably has, but it was 116.7 miles per hour off the bat, 438 feet, and it went right to right field. Everybody knew what happened. It was mass pandemonium at Minute Park. Tell us about your experience, Brett.
It was so back in 2005, whenever the Astros advanced to the World Series, they had that 18-inning game where Chris Burke hit the home run in the 18th inning. In that game, I had my daughter who was 2.5. We were leaving the stadium. Her mom was upset that we were at the game, so we were leaving. I was trying to be a good father, and as we're leaving the stadium, literally the second we walk out of Minute Maid Park, Chris Burke hit the home run. I heard it happen. I didn't see it. To this day, I've regretted that. That was like 18 years ago, okay, or something like that. Today, I was in the upper deck. I was sitting there with my boy Casey. He went to the game with me. Dude, I was struggling. I was like, I had lost hope. I was kind of like Ty was in Toronto, like, the Mariners weren't going to win game 2. And so I was like, look, Casey, he was like, bro, are you leaving? I said, I'm not leaving, but I'm going to go down. So I'm on the bottom level. So when the game's over, I can get out quicker because I got to go do the show and all this stuff. And so I start, I walk down, I see the first out, and I'm like, oh, man, this is not going to happen. Like, this just isn't our day. Like, it's close, it's 7-5, but I just didn't feel it. And I literally turned to walk towards like going out of the stadium. And I swear, and I'm not even making this crap up, like it was a voice that said, fate is going to change things. And I was like, and let me tell you, I instantly saw Alvarez throwing the guy out from left field at home plate. I saw that play again. And I was like, Yordan's up soon. And I was like, oh my God, like something may happen great. I can't leave. I can't make another playoff moment that I miss. I can't do that ever again. So I stayed and I said, I'm going to be faithful and it's going to be awesome. I didn't know. When he put Robbie Ray in, I'm like, holy crap, they're bringing out the big guns. And Robbie Ray looked freaking determined, bro. Like he looked like a freaking bull in a china shop. He goes out there, and let me tell you, man, the second the ball hit the bat, I have never seen a more sure home run at Minute Maid Park since I saw the walk-off by Albert Pujols against the Astros in the playoffs. I've never been a part of a pandemonious outpouring of just angst and fear and people going, we're going to lose game 1. I mean, we just were like, they took out our ace. We're not hitting. This isn't going to happen. I just looked at the scoreboard. I saw the Braves lost 7-6. They were off for a week. I'm like, this week layoff, it sucked. But dude, before the game happened, I got a Jake Myers batting practice home run. Okay. Before that, I got a free Cobos Q postseason 2022 t-shirt. So the fortunes I knew were going to head our way. And I was thinking this, Eric, during the 8th inning before I went down. And I didn't say it out loud, and Casey could check it for me if I did. But I was like, I noticed none of the players looked worried. None of the players looked frustrated. The playoff experience that I talked about, that you talked about, that we all know this team has, came through in the clutch. I really thought Trey Mancini was going to have his moment today. It's not happening with Trey. I don't know what's going to happen. But for a rookie like David freaking Hensley coming in there after some of the managerial moves and position moves and Dubon to center field and all these things, I was like, what's going on? What are we doing? Why are we doing this? I was questioning everything. I was like, get David Hensley in there. And he literally gets hit by a pitch. That's a great at bat by a rookie. Because what does a rookie want to do in that moment? He wants to be the hero, right? He's young. He's naive. It's new. It's fresh. But what better club to do it in than the clubhouse that has the experience? And Scott Service went full Dave Roberts, Dodgers pitching move on us. And I freaking love it. I love that Scott Service. I love that Dusty Baker actually outmanaged Scott Service. And I'm serious when I say that because I was questioning some of the moves and they were flat coming out. And we put a couple runs on the board, but oh my God, Eric, it was like, I blacked out. I was like, there are two types of competitors. There are pretenders and there are contenders. And we are the MFing contenders. Yeah. And I was trying not to rub it in Mariners fans' faces, but I was just going bananas, bro. And everybody was too. I was passing out. Go watch our show. Go watch our show. So if you're watching tonight because you met me, some crazy Astros diehard fan, I told you about my guy, Eric Huysman. We're both teachers. We grind every freaking day. We've got goals. We want to get to 5,000 subscribers. But how fun is this, Eric? How fun is this? It's like when this team makes us doubt, they go, oh, ye of little faith. We have Yordan Alvarez. He is the absolute best hitter on the planet. And someone said earlier, Yordan's going to be MVP next year. Bookmark it. I like his chances.
All right. So if you look at the situation that Alvarez found himself in, he did something that only one other player did. You know what? Who that person is? Kirk Gibson. to hit a walk-off home run with only one out to go. And so he joins the exclusive club there of Kirk Gibson doing this whole running around the
Was
bases.
Kirk
Huh?
Gibson's a solo home run?
I don't know if it was a solo home
Be-
run. I don't remember. It was,
because I saw
go ahead.
because I saw someone quote that he was the first major league player to hit a multi-run home run walk
Right.
off in the postseason. So I think Kirk Gibson's was a solo shot. I believe the game was tied, if I remember correctly, because
Yeah, I
I
think it
was
was
kind of
solo.
a yeah. So this is the first, and that's what's crazy, dude. This is the first multi-run home run walk off. The first, like, are you serious? Like
Right.
Yordan freaking Alvarez, Eric, dude, we were there, dude. We were there. We were freaking there. Like, dude, I was literally crying talking to my mom. I was like, Mom, like, I don't even know how I'm feeling, what I'm feeling right now. And I just started crying. I'm like, I love this team. I am obsessed with the Astros. Absolutely obsessed. Hey, dude, I talked to Sherman Chow from Channel 2, and I was like, hey, you want to interview us? And she was like, what? And I said, yeah. I gave her our business card. So we might be getting some news media people interviewing Locked On Astros, baby. Let's go.
That'll be interesting if that happens. So that's something definitely look forward to. I'm looking forward to game 2 because Luis
Mhm.
Castillo will be going against Framber Valdez. That's something we can talk about in a second. But we need to talk about a new type of clothes style that you and I
Yes.
should be wearing. So let's go and talk about Roan.
So Roan Clothing, let me tell you something, gentlemen and ladies. I got these clothes in, and they actually let us wear some pants and a shirt, but they said, we want you to have this. And so we tried it on, and oh my gosh, the pants are so comfortable. The shirt is so comfortable. It's breathable. They have stepped up to the challenge of a radical reinvention. The Roan commuter shirt is the most comfortable, breathable, and flexible shirt known to man, and here's why. Roan's comfortable four-way stretch fabric provides breathability, flexibility that leaves you free to enjoy what life throws your way, from your commute to work to your 18 holes of golf, or if you're sitting there sweating it out at Minute Maid Park waiting for Yordan and Destiny to show up together. Looking good is easy. It's time to feel confident with a wrinkle-free shirt without the hassle. With Roan's wrinkle release technology, wrinkles disappear as you stretch and wear the shirt. It's that easy. Odor-free tech. That's right. With Gold Fusion anti-odor technology, you'll be smelling fresh and clean all day long. You won't smell like you sat in a 4-hour game and watched a walk-off home run and sweated every bit of beer that you had at the game there, which I didn't have any today, but I saw a lot of people consuming, and boy, they were having a blast. Roan is 100% machine washable, so you can ditch the dry cleaner altogether. So this is what I want you to do. Whether you are going straight to work or it's a work day or whatever comes next, head to roan.com. That's RORHONE.com/locked on. Use a promo code locked on to save 20% for your entire order. That's 20% on your entire order when you head to RHONE.com/locked on. Use the promo code locked on. It's easy. I promise you, you won't go wrong.
All right. Jeremy Pena said after the game, you can't count us out. Our pitching staff has been dominant all year. So great things do that. We pick each other up. And I know that after the game, Justin Verlander was looking at video. I guess in ninth inning, he was looking at video. He saw the home run. He ran onto the field and gave Alvarez a hug. He should buy him a steak. Dinner. He should buy him a Rolex. He should buy him a car because that was a bad start for Justin Verlander. But for him to give up 6 runs only twice this whole season, both times to the Mariners, that's just crazy to think about. So that makes you wonder if they will throw him twice in the series if needed, because if he struggled so much recently, and maybe it has to do with the fact that there was that 7-day in between starts, and also the Mariners have seen him 6 times this year. So no matter how good you are, they will get to know you eventually, and they'll get to be able to see your pitches. So I think it was a matter of, like, we saw him kind of settle down a little bit, but then he gave up that home run. I think that was his first home run that he's given up in a while. But Julio Rodriguez, he looks like he was a man possessed, just hitting that double, hitting that triple, and he got that walk. And then Ty France, they were giving Verlander some trouble early in this game. And Dusty Baker, to his credit, he did kind of start to stretch up Christian Javier, and then Brian Brayu got loose at one point, but he stuck with his ace, and that could have cost him the game. Luckily, Alvarez prevented that last run from scoring, because that would have been made it 7-0 at that time, or I think it was 7-0 at that time. But so Alvarez was really the hero today. But the story has to be how the Mariners really took advantage of the fact that Verlander wasn't really Verlander.
Well, I don't know if that's the story, Eric. That's what Seattle wants the story to be. I think that's the story if Seattle completes the win. I think the story is Yordan Alvarez gunning down the runner at home, because had he not gunned down that runner at home, his 3-run homer would not have been a game winner. It would have been a game tire. So that changed everything.
Right.
And Altuve in his ALDS press conference said, Yordan Alvarez is a complete player. He doesn't ever get attention for his defense. And that right there showed, like, he literally, like, I thought he was going to hurt himself up against the Crawford box wall. That stupid scoreboard. I hate that scoreboard. Can we replace the freaking metal with some damn pads? I'm sorry. I'm going to say the word on the podcast, because that is a lacerated forearm waiting to happen. That should not be a thing. Y'all need to fix that. James Click, Jim Crane, like, wake the hell up. That scoreboard is terrible. And you're going to freaking injure someone like Yordan Alvarez. And dang it, if they hurt Yordan Alvarez, I'm marching down there personally to their offices, and I'm going to file a complaint in the complaint file. Okay? Yordan Alvarez nearly made a great acrobatic catch. Then he throws a runner out later. I mean, just like, he does it all, Eric. And he's calm. He's never excited. Like, the most excited I've ever seen Yordan was tonight after the walk-off. This team, we talk about teams of destiny. We talk about teams of purpose. We talk about teams of chance. We talk about, like I said, and I mean it right now because I'm level-headed, there are contenders and there are pretenders. And until Seattle, until New York, until Cleveland defeats the Astros and stops them from going to the World Series this year, we are the only true contenders, period. Dethrone us, then talk your smack, okay? And look, I'm not talking smack for the rest of the series. Game 2, we got freaking Castillo, bro. That's some real heavy crap. That is a hardcore pitcher. He is a stud. We've got to get through him. But I think if we get through Castillo in Game 2, dude, I think it might be time to say Game 3 might be lights out, Seattle. If we get through Castillo and we go 2-0 on the road, I'm just telling you, I think this team takes the Mariners by the jugular, and we just finish them. Mortal Kombat, bro.
All right. Yeah. I want to go back after this podcast and see what Scott Service had to say about bringing in Robbie Ray in that situation. That made no sense. And I know a lot of people were questioning at the time that why did you bring in Christian Javier if he's supposed to be your Game 4 pitcher? He technically could still be the Game 4 pitcher. He only threw 1 in the third innings. How many pitches did he actually throw? It wasn't enough to make a difference. I think, let me see, it's 21 pitches. So he can still pitch. And I think that game will be game on Sunday. So yeah, that's basically his second started week. Yes, sir.
Here is Robbie Ray versus Yordan Alvarez. He has allowed 1 hit and 2 walks against Yordan Alvarez before today in 2 games. So, yeah. So he has gotten a hit and he's walked him twice. I looked at someone next to me and I looked at him. I said, you know what? If I'm Scott Service, you know what I'm doing? I'm walking Yordan Alvarez because he's absolutely going to hit a home run here. And he was like, you think so? I'm like, well, I can't tell the future, but if I'm Robbie Ray, I'm thinking this guy's going to tank me. So freaking put his butt on first. That would have changed everything. The Mariners could have escaped with the win today. They outmanaged themselves. They outsmarted themselves. And pride always comes before the fall. We'll put in our big guy. I mean, how many times have we seen managers put in aces, and aces actually poo-poo the bed in a relief scenario. They are not in a relief scenario, Eric, for a reason. And why you wouldn't keep your closer in for 2 innings, screw it if you don't have him game 2. You got to get game 1. You have got the Astros ace. You've got your number 3 starter. Like the Astros didn't, they looked befuddled against Gilbert.
Right.
And Gilbert had that 1 inning where they get the 2 runs. Like, okay, the Astros got to him. He's wild, kind of like Ty said. It just didn't work. And sorry, that was not a Johnny Depp reference.
All right. So Gilbert did throw 84 pitches. So I think that Service could have left him in there, but I was glad that he got him out. Brash came in. Then Munoz was the guy that he was the one that dominated the Astros earlier this year. I remember that because he was throwing in upper 90s, 102 and all that. But then Seawald is like one of the Mariners' best relievers. And I still don't get it. And I think if the Mariners, let's just say when the Mariners lose this series, I think Scott Service is going to have to answer for that situation. But the Astros would not have been in that situation. Yes, David Hensley got hit by the pitch. Sometimes that's kind of blind luck when you get hit by a pitch. But Jeremy Pena, he was 0 for 4 in that game before that bat. He did have one swing where he did make good contact, but otherwise he looked a little bit overmatched. But earlier in the game, the Astros kept on popping up the ball, and like they would go foul like right behind third base, and that's what the balls kept on doing. But Pena, that hit was so big to set up for Alvarez getting a home run. So I don't want to just overlook what Pena did, because if Pena would have got out, Alvarez would not have been there in that situation. So
you are correct. Look, baseball is a win as a team, lose as a team. And Justin Verlander, I couldn't. He was hittable, and I put out a tweet. It was tongue in cheek, and I'm glad nobody took it the wrong way. I literally said, "Don't y'all find it funny that the Mariners aren't swinging and missing on anything? It's almost like they know what pitch is coming." And then I put, "See how that works, kids? You see how this all works?" And someone goes, "Oh, how the turntables." And yes, I was accusing them of cheating. And then I put, "I believe I saw a Mariners employee with an MLB polo setting up a camera in center field." Totally joking. Of course, Astros fans just replied, "And the bots hit."
I
blocked them. Okay, you got it? Okay.
Yeah.
Blocking them, bro. All right. Hey, it's okay. Dude, 254. Now, let me stop and say this, Eric. If you're a first-time listener, if you've never listened to our show and you met me and I was going absolutely loony and crazy, hey, bro, that's me. Like I make no apologies, because this show, the work that Eric puts in, the work that I put in, we do to make the best show. We may not get every single take right, but you know what? We're going to own it. And we love that you're here. We ask that you would subscribe to our channel. We want to get to 5,000 subscribers this postseason. And you know what? I am really hungry, and I'm upset at myself because usually I bring a Built Bar to the game, because you can actually bring food into the stadium. And if you haven't tried Built Bar Puffs yet, then you're depriving yourself of one of life's greatest joys. It would be like not being able to be an Astros fan. Like, why wouldn't you be? There's a new flavor. You ready? Delicious, indulgent cookie dough covered in chocolate. That's right. Built has done it again. Let me introduce you to your new favorite cookie dough chunk puffs. They have a light and chewy texture with real cookie dough chunks, and of course, covered in a 100% real chocolate. Cookie dough chunk puffs are only 160 calories, and they are a whopping 15 grams of protein in them. What I love about this protein is it's collagen protein. Why is that important? I'm not a medical professional, but collagen protein actually absorbs in your body better, and which means it distributes the benefits of the protein at a more efficient way. So that way you're not getting all the calories, but you're getting the health benefits. So what's great about Built is that all their bars are made with this collagen protein with the health benefits. So you're going to love the new cookie dough chunk puff, whether you need it for a snack, for a workout, late night treat after Yordan hits a walk-off, grab a quick bite. Built has the perfect protein bar. So go to built.com and use the promo code LOCKEDON15 and get 15% off your order. Use the promo code LOCKEDON15. Go to built.com today.
I love the fact that Todd Callis and Blummer were the Let's Play Ball kids today. I mean, I know they're not kids, but it was good for them to be part of this since they're not able to do the play-by-play on TV, on the broadcast. They were able to make their presence known. So that was good. I do want to take a break from the actual game to kind of talk a little bit about the roster decisions. We do
Yeah.
know that Hensley did make the roster, and we also know that Hunter Brown made the roster. I don't think those are big surprises. I think the big surprise was the fact that that Phil Maton did not make the roster and that Will Smith did not make the roster. Later on, we did figure out why Maton did not make the roster, and I'm sure that
Bro.
Robbie Ray may have had that same situation, or maybe Scott Service after the game. But
Wow.
um, how do you go from smiling to your brother and like having a good moment, like to punching a locker and
He
breaking your finger?
he went full Ken Giles. See, Ken Giles punched his face. That was non-consequential other than it kicked him off the team. He punched the freaking locker. So, like, people joke, like, Maton's got to be like a serial killer, just joking, like, because he's got this straight face, like, you never know what he's feeling,
I
never
did
shows
mention
any
Dexter one
emotion.
time. Yeah.
Okay, yes, he does kind of have his dexterish look, okay? But yeah, so he's out, dude. Someone's like, "Are they going to DFA him?" I'm like, "Dude, I don't know." But you know what I liked, Eric, at the beginning of the with the introductions, they introduced Jason Castro and Michael Brantley. Someone's like, "Wait, where did Castro come from?" Someone's like, "I thought he wasn't even with the team anymore." And so that was kind of cool seeing that before. But yeah, dude, like Luis Garcia and Jose Urquidy, the way they use the pitchers tonight, maybe they're counting on Luis Garcia or Urquidy to be the fourth game starter. And maybe Javier's gonna be your bullpen guy. I'm really surprised that I'm not surprised now that the reason why Maton's off, but I'm surprised he didn't go with Will Smith. And the reason why I say that is because Will Smith is the move that just seems like an Astros thing to do. Like, yeah, he's been sucking lately, but he's got playoff experience and he's great in the playoffs, right? So I think if there's a game four, and I say if, I mean the Astros have to take care of business. Look, the series isn't over, okay? I'm not saying that Seattle's going to lay down, but bro, momentum has shifted to Houston.
Right.
Period. Momentum was clearly with Seattle. I mean, Eric, like you said, they had no business, none whatsoever, because they could every time they scored one run, the Mariners would score two.
Right.
And it was like, and then JP Crawford's hitting 125 and hits a freaking laser to right field. Like, what is that? You know? And they've got respectable hitters. To get Cal Riley to ground out towards the end was huge. I was afraid he was going to take us tank. I just, the way this game unfolded, this is why you play the game. This is why there was 27 outs. This is why when someone in our DM group for Locked On said, "Oh, should the Astros be worried?" Now it's like it's literally the second inning of game one. Like, why are we worried? No. So
Yeah. And so this quote is very interesting from Dusty Baker before the game. This is on Will Smith. "If you followed me for the first 3 or 4 months, I was always calling for a left-hander or two, and still calling for him." So does he not classify Will Smith as his lefty that he was looking for? And um, is that why he's not on the roster? And he said that actually telling Will Smith he's not on the roster was one of the hardest things he had to do, because last year he was very beneficial for the Braves. He was the MVP, or not, maybe not MVP, but he was the big piece out of the Braves bullpen that won against us. So he said that was very hard to tell Will Smith that. But one of the things that I said the other day on the podcast is the reason why you need somebody like Luis Garcia and maybe even Urquidy on there is for the length. And that's what Dusty Baker said, that he felt like in games 3, 4, and 5, you might need the length of in your bullpen, and you couldn't have that without Luis Garcia and Jose Urquidy. And I mean, I know that there was a bug going around. I'm not going to go with somebody that said something in Spaces earlier, but one of those guys has been a little bit under the weather, but he's still he's still on the roster, and so that means that they're thinking that he'll be ready to pitch
Yeah.
at some point in this series. So I think that the Astros trust these two guys enough, and maybe the need for a lefty was just not that big in a 5-game
Yeah.
series.
Okay, so I'm just going to go over some vitals for the game because I don't want to miss anybody getting credit. Alvarez with a double almost hit a second home run. Okay,
Right.
Gurriel obviously with his home run, Bregman with his home run. So Bregman, Gurriel, and Alvarez all recorded RBI. The relief pitching, Brian Abreu, 1.2 innings, 3 strikeouts. Javier, 1.1 innings, did give up 1 home run and 1 earned run, but he had 2 strikeouts. Hunter Brown came in, only gave up a hit, pitched 1 inning, looked great. Rafael Montero actually got the W with 1 clean inning to wrap things up. You got David Hensley up here, his first postseason at bat. He's 0 across the board, but he's got an OPS of 1,000. David Hensley contributing with the statistics of HBP is next level. That's leveling up, folks. That is what this team is all about. And everybody contributed. Remember, I talked about Bregman needs to do something in this postseason. Yuli, and you called it, Yuli needs to do something in this postseason. If you get, because at first it was the bottom of the lineup that was producing. Outside of Yordan,
Right.
nobody else was really hitting. I mean, Eric, this is a great win.
And even Gurriel's out was a line drive to center field. And
it was a laser.
yeah. So he was making good contact today, and he looked like he had like he went to the fountain of youth or something, and he found something that he lost. And somebody asked if Phil Maton could be on the ALCS roster. No, he's literally got his whole hand wrapped. He had surgery on Monday for it. So Maton's going to be out for the entire playoffs. So no, don't expect him. Will Smith could be an option for the ALCS if we see, but I don't know about Trey Mancini. I kept on hoping that he would kind of break out of his little slump here, but he just kept on swinging and misses. It's the same swing every time. It's hard to explain, but it's just like, and he just it's the same swing each time, and it's like I don't know, but maybe. Should Aledmys Diaz be the DH, or maybe should we have Hensley in as a DH?
I think for game 2, I think against Luis Castillo, I think you put Aledmys Diaz because of the experience. I think Luis Castillo is too good of a pitcher to put Hensley in that starting role, if I'm being honest. I think Hensley is great off the bench. I think Hensley is great late, but Mancini, so here's the thing. I had made a statement on Twitter, Mancini went from starter to, hitting every 4th day. And someone said, no, since August 20th, he's played almost every game as DH or left field. Like, he's played a lot more than he sat the last half of his half being here, right? He just, dude, great. That was actually a great impression of his swing, because it's one motion. And it's like, we were yelling, Mancini, this is your moment. Boom, boom, Mancini. Like, I was sitting there going, there's no way the law of averages have him striking out right now. He's got to at least get a hit.
Right.
At least get it. He has been an absolute zero. But Christian Vasquez better get some freaking starts. We need his offense. If this offense
forget
is
the
going to be
defense,
inconsistent,
forget the framing,
dude,
everything.
He threw a runner out.
Yeah.
He threw a freaking runner out. I mean, he's not bad defensively. He's a great catcher. He's a playoff hitting catcher. I really hope that he starts in game 2. No offense, Maldonado, but I need Vasquez 9 innings to be my backstop.
All right. Apparently, the Yankees just took the lead against the Guardians.
Who cares? Forget about it. Go have some Sparrow pizza, whatever. Forget about it. New York. All right. I don't care. Like, you know what? All I'm concerned about is Luis Castillo on Thursday.
Yeah.
All I'm concerned about is how the Mariners respond and how the Astros respond. I think whoever have they announced game 2 starter?
For them or for the Astros?
For
Astros, it will be Framber Valdez. He will be starting game 2, and then game 3 it will be Lance McCullers. So Dusty Baker.
Did you say that? Did you say that earlier?
Yes. Oh, I said
Okay.
Framber Valdez will be, but
Okay.
Dusty Baker does not listen to the Locked On Astros podcast. I can confirm that because he did not listen to us. But I think
Well,
you're going with your hot hand. You're going with the guy that's been there all season for you, and I totally get it. It's the lefty guy. It's the one that you've had success with all season, and they've even hired his mental coach
they have.
as to be there with him every start. So the Astros are going with their guy. And by the way, we also know times for the rest of the series. Game 2,
Right.
of course, is going to be Thursday at 2:37. Game 3 is going to be Saturday at 3:07. Game 4 is going to be Sunday at 2:07. Game 5, if needed, would be at 4:07 on Monday or 6:07 if it's the only game that day. So, yes, we're getting all the early games, but that's welcome to being an
Uh,
Astros fan. It's what we
Mariners
do.
fans, yeah, Mariners fans were complaining about. I'm like, guys, we get it. You haven't been here in a while, so you don't know. But let me just let you on a little secret: the New York and the LA's, they're going to get the primetime spots because they're the bigger markets. So this means that we have a 1:30 start time. Y'all listen to this: Game 3, pre-game, live podcast, Locked On Astros at Hooters NASA, Saturday, October 15th, 1:30. Get your butt to Hooters. It's going to be fun. Framber Valdez is 1-0 with an ERA of 3.95 versus the Mariners this season with 15 strikeouts and 2 appearances. His first one was at Seattle, 6.2 innings, 8 hits, only 3 earned runs, and 8 strikeouts. In the second game, he played at Houston, 7 innings pitched, 3 earned runs again, 7 strikeouts. He did hit 2 batters, but he only walked 2 batters in both games. So Framber Valdez on the road or at home has had success against the Mariners this year. So that bodes well. Those were both in July. Some people say, well, there were a lot of hurt Mariners at the time, but Framber also is the all-time quality start leader at 25. So I like our chances in game 2. I think Luis Castillo, they've got to see a lot of pitches from him. We got to force him to throw stuff out of the zone. And when he does, we've got to stay within ourselves, not to swing at stuff out of the zone. So there you go.
Yeah, I'm trying to find his actual stats versus the Astros in his career. I'm got it right here. He's only pitched, you ready for this?
Yeah.
6 innings against the Houston Astros in his career. He got the win. And in 6 innings, he struck out 7 Astros. He didn't allow any home runs. And I don't know when that start was, but he's only faced the Astros once in his career. And that may have been when it was with the Mariners, or may have been when he was with the Reds. But overall, that's not a big sample size. But this is a guy that the Mariners went out and traded for. So I'm excited to see this matchup. Framber Valdez, the 25 straight quality starts, and versus somebody the Mariners are trying to save their season with. And I mean, basically, because if the Astros go up 2-0 versus Mariners, yes, the Mariners have a chance to win both home games, but then you still have to come home. So, Brett, you have one last thing.
Yeah. So I was sitting behind someone who is actually, I sat behind the daughter of one of the most veteran umpires in Major League Baseball, Ed Hickok, who is 60 years old. He's about to retire. This guy he has been on the crew with CB Buckner and Jerry West. She told me a story about Jerry West. She said they get together and they have what they call these, I think they're called pig dinners or something, where they put all this money in this glass pig and they go out, and then Jerry West buys everybody, like pays thousands of dollars for these meals. Then what they do is they obviously can't eat it all. They said, and this is because Jerry West always, everybody thinks he's a horrible person. He boxes up all the extra food, Eric, and between where the restaurant is and where his hotel is, he goes to where the homeless people are and he distributes food to homeless people. I thought that was kind of cool to hear, because we always hear this stuff. We know why we don't like Jerry West in Houston, but this guy, his daughter told me a couple other stories. I won't go into all of them, but it was really neat to talk to somebody, and they get lifetime passes to games. And so she said she had been to all stadium but 3, but it was neat talking to her and interacting with with their group that were there. So I was there with some umpire families that were up there in the upper deck. I didn't realize. So I was real uncritical of the umpires. I didn't know whose family was around me.
Yeah, it was a great game to watch. It was fun to watch. We had interesting seats. It was in section 108, section 40. For those of y'all that know what that is, those are the seats that are up at the top. So you're the people who have standing room only are literally standing right behind you, and so that was interesting section to sit in. But it was great. Me and my girl had a fun time, and it was just a blast. And the walk off was great to experience. And it's just these moments make you great. I'm glad that you're an Astros fan. And I know that we had Ty on yesterday and we had him relive the whole comeback experience. And I feel bad because it's like, I guess our time's up. But
No.
now I was like, well, I hope you enjoyed the experience because you're not going to have it against us. And did I predict that this was going to happen today? So who knows? But this game was crazy. Let's hope that the next couple of games are not as stressful because the first 5 or 6 innings was like, okay, what's going on here? Did the layoff really hurt that much? But guys, that's all we got for this edition of Locked On Astros podcast. We'll be back tomorrow to look more deeper into the matchups for game 2. And make sure you subscribe to us. Make sure you make us your first listen on Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcasts. Check out the Locked On Astros podcast and go Astros.